thank you so much. Thanks so much for the invitation to join tonight. And yeah, I actually resonate so much with Megan. I feel like you you said everything I had written down here, Megan. So I'll try and keep it brief. So my name is Mairead McDevitt. I am a community and youth worker, and I work at the Migrant Rights Centre. I started 4 years ago, actually, as a part-time youth worker. It was the first paid youth worker role in MRCI at the time. And I was working with a group of undocumented young people on a kind of a project and campaign called Young Papers and Powerful. And then we got some funding, and that made me go full-time, and that was just brilliant, because, you know, being able to do youth work on a full-time basis it's just fantastic, and you can get so much more done in 5 days than you can get done in 3. So so I was in that role for 3 years, and then I suppose the you know, the young people that were in the project, you know, as with the, you know, a lot of them got their papers and aged out, and that's what you want, you know what I mean? They're moving on with their lives. So I moved into a role of community work a year ago, and I suppose I'm primarily working on I suppose leadership and supporting I suppose we've different kind of like variations, I suppose you could call it, of community work and organising in MRCI at the moment. We're doing a lot of stuff in the meat sector. We're working with home care, with carers in the private home. We've recently, I'm not sure if any of you heard about the Justice for Undocumented campaign, which saw its biggest win to date. We still can't believe it, so pinching ourselves that after an 11-year campaign, which is led by undocumented people themselves, they secured a broad regularisation scheme. So a regularisation scheme is basically a pathway to papers, and it's utterly life-changing. And to be in the mix of all of that when it's happening is just phenomenal, you know. So and YPP, who I worked with, were part of all that. They certainly, you know, kind of raised the bar in terms of, like, you know, like what it was like for a young person who's undocumented growing up in Ireland, and, you know, because that kind of, it's a very, I suppose, particular cohort in society that you don't really hear about a lot. So anyway, in terms of my journey to and through the program, it's kind of an interesting one. I worked in the private sector for 20 years, and in hospitality and retail, and it kind of, I suppose, it really got to a point where I was not happy at all, and, you know, I knew that, like, I had all of these ideas and things and thoughts about, like, injustice and inequality, and, you know, like, just everything that was kind of wrong in the world and society. Well, I didn't know what to do with it, or where to go, or where to put them. So I've been working in management in the private sector, and I went and actually started an MA in Cork, in management in the community and voluntary sector. And very quickly I was like, what are you doing? This is the wrong course for you, like, you haven't got a clue. So one of the lecturers actually put me in touch with a past pupil of Maynooth, Evie Finlay, and I am internally indebted to her, because honestly, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be on this course. She just said to me, just tell me about yourself. What are you at? What are your values? What are you passionate about? What are you motivated about? And I told her, and she said, have you ever thought about community and youth work? And I said, what are you talking about? I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything about it. But when I looked at, I suppose, the content and looked into it more, I was like, it just made a lot of sense, and it just kind of ticked a lot of boxes for me. And I was like, and also as well, you know, I was also at a time in my life where I was really just ready to have, I suppose, those ideas and values and perspectives challenged, and, you know, kind of put through a bit of a lens of, like, I hear, you know, you have these things, but, like, you need to kind of, like, do something with it, you know, because yeah. So, and also as well, like, it was really just on the professional qualification, that was also very important to me as well, because I wanted to come out of something and be ready to work straight away and work in the sector. Like, it was the hardest and most rewarding journey I've ever been on. Like, it's the best thing I've ever done, and I never look back. And, you know, to have put all of those values and perspectives and privilege through kind of like the lens of critically analysing systems of oppression and intersectional inequality and all these things, it was just the best thing. And it really, I suppose, set me up well for for finding employment then after graduation, you know. But I suppose, Megan, what you were saying there about going on placement, I mean, placement just changed everything for me. Like, I never thought that I'd actually see myself as a youth worker, but then I went and did a youth work placement in Swan Youth Service in northeastern Dublin City, and it was the best time of my life. Like, honestly, I had the best. I had great fun, but like, you know, when your work doesn't feel like work when you're having fun, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And then I started and then I did my second placement in Co-op, and that was fantastic as well, totally different, but absolutely brilliant as well, and lots of opportunities there. So then afterwards, after I graduated in 2017, I think it took a bit of a year, or no, about 6 months, and then a job came up in MRCI. I said, oh, maybe I might go see if maybe I might be able to do this. And I went for it and got it, and lo and behold, here I am. And I suppose what the course kind of gave me really was, I suppose, and this is the thing, is that like community and youth work is fundamentally, like, it is interested in, sorry, I'm reading from notes there, but because I have to kind of write it down, but it is fundamentally interested in addressing the root causes of inequalities, but and also on the journey to social justice. And it provides you with the tools to create conditions for people to see themselves and be agents of change, not victims of circumstance, you know. And I suppose in MRCI, that's really how we work, you know what I mean? We see people as powerful agents of change, and, you know, not just somebody who's come through the drop-in centre for like support on something, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know, you can get involved in this campaign, or there's a network or something like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I couldn't recommend this course more. If you're ready to have your ideas and values and things kind of challenged, you know, and open and ready for that, I think it's really important that we, you know, that we do that as social justice people. I don't know what we call ourselves, community youth workers, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I thought I could talk at length of this, but I'll try to keep brief.